Good morning, and we are in chapter 33, and it's the last of last week's lesson, and we'll start the first of this week's lesson as well, hopefully, in a different next video. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and beheld Esau came. Remember, he'd sent servants, he sent loads of livestock, and it really seems that Jacob wanted to heal things between them, but also he doesn't know what Esau's going to think, because he comes with 400 men, and he divided the children unto Leah and unto Rachel and unto the two handmaids. He basically put them other places so that if anything goes wrong with one group, the rest can be saved, is what it seems to be. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph in the hindermost. So kind of in marching order of who he thought was most important, I guess. Rachel and Joseph being in the back. If anything goes wrong, they can at least escape. And he passed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near his brother. So he's showing this obeisance to his brother already. And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him and wept. What a wonderful way to see Esau, this person who, when in his younger years, at least 10, 20 years earlier, seemed to have no values really to speak of, and now he's realizing the importance of family and importance of his brother and his family, and more important than the birthright as such. And I guess that's a way of looking at it, is he saw and ran because he saw that was what the birthright meant, really, was family. And he lifted up his eyes and saw women and children, and said, "Who are these with thee?" Sorry about the coughing. "And the children which God hath graciously given thy servant." And he said, "The children which God hath graciously given thy servant." And the handmaidens came near, and they and their children, and they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And he said, "What meanest thou by all this drove which I met?" And he said, "These are to find grace in thy sight, the sight of thy Lord." He's basically saying, okay, you brought all these cattle and everything, and you brought them to me. Why do you think you needed to do that? And he's saying, well, because I want to make sure you're happy. Esau said, "I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast unto thyself." And Jacob said, "Nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen the face as though I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me." He's giving him a great compliment here, and letting him know he's so grateful that his brother has forgiven him. "Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because God hath dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough." And he urged him, and he took it. And he said, "Let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before thee. And he said unto him, My Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds with young are with me. And if men should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die. Let my Lord, I pray thee, pass before my servant, and I will lead on softly as the cattle that goeth before me, and the children that be able to endure, until I come unto my Lord, unto Seir. Basically saying, I'm not going to go very fast because I've got the cattle and everything that's going to slow me down, but I'll get there. And Esau said, Let me now leave with thee, and come, and some of the folk that are with me. And he said, What needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of the Lord. So Esau returned that day on his way to Seir, and Jacob journeyed to Succoth. Remember, Succoth was important. Was it? It means booths, but I think it was probably me reading it before, but it means booths. It means he made booths for his cattle, and therefore the name of the place is called Succoth. That's right. And Jacob came to Salem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. When he came from Padanaram and pitched his tent before the city, and he bought a parcel of field where he spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hanar, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected an altar and called it El Elo Israel. So El means God is the God of Israel. And since he's being called Israel now, that was probably quite significant that he would say that, and anybody that came to it. So now we've had the story of Israel, or Jacob and Esau, come to basically a closer or to a happy ending, and Jacob being his name being changed to Israel. And then in 34, I've put in the notes here, the top here, I've underlined. We'll read through those so that we know what's going on in between then. Shechem, we just heard about Shechem a little bit, defiles Dinah. The Hivites seek to arrange marriages with Jacob's family. Many, having been circumcised, are slain by Simeon and Levi. Jacob reproves his sons. This is one of the accounts, and I'm happy not to read this one, where I just feel like it's like they took a sacred covenant and said, you can make this covenant, and then as soon as they do something even worse. They kill them. And I can understand that they were trying to defend Bella, but they did it in a really weird way. And I'm not going to, we don't cover that this time. If you want to read it, you can. It's not exactly the best story in the Bible. God sends Jacob to Bethel, where he built an altar, and the Lord appears to him, and God renews the promise that Jacob will be a great nation, and that his name will be Israel. Jacob sets up an altar and pours a drink offering. Rachel bears Benjamin, dies in childbirth, and is buried near Bethlehem. Reuben sins with Bilhah. Isaac dies and is buried by Jacob and Esau. So we're having the sons are not exactly living the way that his father, grandfather, and great-grandfather have tried to teach him to do, as we see with Reuben and with the last account that we didn't read in chapter 34. And we see that Jacob is trying to do all that he's supposed to do. Reuben is basically losing his birthright as the oldest. And then chapter 36 is descendants of Esau, who is in Edom, are listed. And basically it's another generations thing of Esau. And the big thing is that it becomes the Edomites, basically. And that's what we have to know about this. And we are in chapter 37, and we will do that next.